this is Lana Tabor and welcome to the November release video hub for Altenew. Yes, look at these fabulous releases that I have in front of me. Today I'm going to be focusing solely on wax seals and I'm going to show you something truly fabulous. Before I do that, let me show you how many beautiful new colors Altenew released. Trust me, if you are a wax seal lover like I am, you are not going to want to miss this. This beautiful purple is called Dreamy Periwinkle. Then there is this fabulous pearl white and fresh green. Look at those beautiful colors. Now, this is a fabulous sapphire blue, and that's the one that we're going to be playing with today. Then we have warm gold and coral berry. Take a look at those bright colors. Next, we have some frosty pink and ocean mist. Such gentle colors, and you can see that I'm already out of those frosty pink beads and I need to get me some more. Then we have a striking velvet and gold shimmer, and that is it when it comes to beautiful wax beads. But look at these stamps. I'm finally showing you wax seal stamps for the month of November. Look at this sunflower stamp. This is a 3D wax seal stamp, and take a look at this stamp. Absolutely stunning. A lot of details, and there's just so much that you can do with these stamps. I like to keep mine in their original boxes, and I keep them like this, on top of each other on the shelf, so I know which stamp to pick. Next, we have this Baroque Embrace and Heirloom Oval. These are frame wax seals, also 3D and absolutely beautiful. Look, there's just so much that you can do with these. Let me show you Baroque. Look at this. Look at the detail of that stamp. Absolutely beautiful. And this one is a little bit more subtle, but yet really, really beautiful as well. And we have Berrywood Bird. This wax seal stamp is truly something out of this world. Look at this detail. I am so blown away by how the stamp looks, and you will be seeing me using this stamp a lot. I would also like to let you know that Altenew is actually a sponsor of today's video, and they are giving away up to $300 in prizes. Please make sure to hop along this video hop and comment on each and every one. And while you're at it, please click that follow button. It will mean the world to every single one of us. The video starts at Altenew and the link is down below. And last but not least, stamp that I am going to show you is this beautiful Graceful Feather, and this is the stamp that we are going to be playing with today. I just couldn't resist. It is so beautiful and so perfect with what I want to show you. Look at the detail of this stamp. Just absolutely perfect. Next, I'm going to be using this pearl white and sapphire wax seal beads. And without further ado, let's dive right in. The first thing that I am going to do here is put or draw a grid on this cardstock. This is a 5x7 Nina 110-pound cardstock, and all I'm doing is drawing a grid. First, I'm going to mark the center of my card base. That is exactly at 2.5 inches. And then I'm going to draw a line right in the middle. I'm going to do the same with the horizontal side, which is a 3.5 inch. And then draw a line right in the middle. And then I'm going to put these two lines in half, or that should be quarters. And I am left with 3.5 inch, and the half of that is 1 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, just mark the centers and draw the lines. And the last thing is to mark the top, which is 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 again. And once again, I'm going to draw these horizontal lines, and we have ourselves a perfect grid. This is what's going to help me create the card. And now we move to wax seals. I'm going to be using sapphire and pearl white wax seal beads, and I have already melted some wax here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can better see what I'm doing here. And all that I'm doing really is just pouring wax directly on that silicone mat, and I'm just going to stamp. There's nothing else to do about it. Just simply pour the wax directly on the silicone mat and simply and gently stamp. Always make sure to clean the bottom of your spoon. This is particularly important for all of you who are using candle warmers. Wait for a few moments for that wax to set, and in the meantime, I'm going to be using just one bead of white wax and add it to my blue wax. Now look how beautiful this is. Next, I'm going to grab these Altenew precision scissors, and I'm going to simply cut the shape of the feather. Nice and easy. This is such a simple and very easy thing to do. It is like fussy cutting. Only for me, this seems to be way more enjoyable than cutting the paper. And that is perfect. Look how easy and quick that was. Next, please remelt all these extra pieces. All that I'm going to do is simply cut them a little bit so they can fit into the spoon nicely and remelt it with the rest of that blue wax. Now, one tool that I truly recommend is this perfect jewel picker. It's not just that it has this little wax tool for picking your jewels, but this metal pick here is so perfect for your wax seals as well as for your die cuts. And all that I'm going to do is actually just mix this wax nice and easy. As you can see, this is so warm that wax just melts so well even when it's not directly on the heat. I'm going to put this now back on a burner, and we're going to continue with wax sealing. So you saw me create this little feather there on my left, and I'm going to demonstrate the same technique one more time. So always mix your wax and always make sure that your tools are nice and clean. And what I'm going to do next is just get my melted wax and put it directly on the silicone mat. Next, clean up the spoon on the bottom, just like so. Put it back on a burner and stamp. Next, I'm going to grab just one single bead of pearl white and put it in my blue melted wax. And this is okay. You see, mistakes like this happen all the time. It is quite messy, I have to tell you. That's the beauty of wax seals. If you don't like to get messy, then this is not a medium for you. And aside from being messy, it also requires a lot of patience. And this is a perfect way to practice your patience. Trust me, I know it. And one more time, I'm just going to grab Altenew fine blade scissors and just trim around the feather. That is so perfect. Now, you still can't see the difference between the two blues, but as we move forward and progress with creating these feathers, you will definitely see that beautiful gradient look. I'm now going to continue on creating my feathers, and every time I pour, I'm going to be getting a lighter color feather. That is because every time I pour, I'm going to stamp and then add one more bead of that pearl white wax. And here is the entire process here sped up by a lot. I wanted to show you how I created the gradient look using wax seals and wax seal beads. This is a very easy thing to do. As you can see, it just requires a lot of patience. Now, here I am, and look at all these beautiful feathers. That gradient look is truly stunning. Take a look at the difference between the first pour and the very last one that I had. I made the total of 16 feathers, and the colors are just absolutely stunning. I added yet one more white bead into this wax. I'm gonna just mix it up and put it back on the burner to warm up a little bit more. Now, there's one thing that came to mind earlier, and I wanted to share this with you. This is very interesting, actually, that I just realized. Now, take a look at this. You see that my spoon is quite clean of that soot. Actually, nothing comes off. That means that there is a difference in votive candles. Apparently, the candles that are more expensive, probably votive candles, will not leave a lot of soot. I really don't know how I ended up with these candles. I never really searched for candles that don't leave soot behind, but apparently there is such thing. So when you're purchasing candles, make sure that you get a good quality candle. That way your spoons are always going to be soot free. And now I'm going to add a few more blue beads into the spoon. I'm going back to a very dark navy blue. That's because I really want to have a dark contrast between this light feather. And yet one more time, I am going to trim this wax, and as you can see, I save all that extra wax. Please don't throw it away. This is precious, very expensive and good quality wax that you don't want to throw away. Just put them in a little jar and then just mix it up and come up with some cool color wax. And now, one last time, I am gonna trim this extra wax around this feather, and I am going to actually show you a puzzle-in technique that I honestly am not sure if that's how it's supposed to be called or not. I named it that way. If you think that there is a better way to say it, please let me know. I am open to any suggestions. But for the time being, let's call it a puzzle-in technique, and I am going to demonstrate how I actually do this. It is actually a very easy technique to do. What you need to have is actually 2 or more different color wax. Now, what you're going to do is puzzle in the cut piece right back into the stamp, just like I'm doing here, and just firmly press it in. As you can see, this feather is not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna press it yet one more time, just like that. As you can see, I'm testing it, and it's in there with no issues. So I'm going to put this on the side, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to pour both white and blue at the same time. And as you can see, my actual silicone mat is not even with the surface, so it created this really odd shape, but that is okay. Maybe that is going to give me exactly the design that I want. Now I'm going to get this pokey tool here and swirl this a little bit, just create some little design like this, just a little blue and white. And then I'm gonna grab this feather and simply stamp, just like so. Now it did create that really beautiful, organic, imperfect look, and I just love that. I'm gonna allow it to cool down a little bit, and I'll be back with the results. And let's see how this turned out. I'm gonna peel it off nicely. It looks very interesting. Wow, look how cool this looks. I love that imperfect shape. It is so fun, and look at all those colors and how the white and the blue just blend into each other. It looks absolutely beautiful, and something that I am absolutely positive I'm not going to be able to repeat. Look at the bubbles on the side. It gives that such an interesting look. So there you go. Just play with your wax seals. See what you can come up with, because every time you do it, it's going to surprise you even more, and with every pour and every stamp, you're going to be falling in love with it more and more. And I could never pass on a good sentiment die set such as this one. This is called Stylish Greetings, and this is also part of the November release. These sentiments are awesome, and everything that you need in one sentiment die set. I'm going to use the word hugs, and to color this, I am using blueberry and navy Altenew dye inks. First, I'm going to die cut them. And for this, I'm using Mini Blossom die cutting machine. This little tool is always next to me. This is my little companion in every single craft that I do. Next, I'm going to puzzle these die cuts in and simply ink it up completely with this beautiful light blue color. And I'm also going to do the same thing with the backing. I am using navy ink for this, and I'm going to repeat the process. Next, I'm going to add liquid adhesive to the back of my word hugs. Use some scrap paper to remove that excess glue, and then just simply attach it to the base, or that shadow, so to speak. And that's it. The sentiment is done. Now, there are a couple of things that I did off camera. First, take a look at this panel and see how it turned out. I ended up arranging my feathers, one feather in that little square grid that I created previously, and I also removed the marking of that pencil with an eraser. I also created a mat that I just glued this card on. It seemed to me that this card needed some kind of grounding, if that makes sense. And putting it on the mat definitely gives that look. And now it's time to add the sentiment and this quite irregular looking wax seal. Because of the feathers, this wax seal cannot be glued directly on the card, so I am going to use this foam tape from Altenew to achieve that. Don't worry, this tape is actually strong enough to hold your wax seals in place. Yes, this is going to be perfect, and my wax seal is not going to move anywhere. You will literally have to yank it off of that cardstock. So I'm just going to position it there nicely. There we go. It's not going to go anywhere. And the word hugs is definitely going to need double tape here. So I'm going to double it and let's see if that's going to actually be enough. I'm just going to test before I position it. And no, it looks like it's going to actually need one more little layer of that tape. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece like so and attach it to the backing, and this should do the trick. And we are at the end of today's video. I cannot be more pleased by the way this card looks. Look at that detail. I love how that wax seal turned out. There's just a lot of details and something that it's going to be very hard to repeat. That is why I left this seal to be this irregular shape and to stay this way. Yeah, I could have trimmed it and make it a little bit more uniformed, but that is the beauty of wax seals. You never know what you're going to come up with and what the final result is going to be. That is why I love it so much, because even though there is parts of it that you can control, there's still a lot of it that you can't, and it's quite unpredictable. So please give this a try, because there is so many things that you can use your wax seals in. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm always happy to interact with my viewers. Please don't forget to click that follow button. It'll mean the world to me. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. However, every little voice counts. So thank you again in advance. And big thanks goes to Altenew for organizing this hop and for inviting me to be a guest designer in the November release. I look forward to seeing what you create. Don't forget to hop along and see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.